I'm Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Of course, you can tell this is another speed build. It is another community lot. This is like I forgot what it originally was called because I had already took someone's build off of the gallery and changed it, but now it's going to be my build. But it's the park area that is in Oasis Springs. So, I don't remember what it was called originally, but, yeah. So, this is the lot that I am doing this on. So, I am making a park, actually, on this one. And by this time, I built this not too long after the terrain tools first come out. But because of a few other things going on and my computer issues and stuff like that, I'm just now getting to get some of these videos that I've created out in the first place. So, this was some of my first experience playing around with the terrain tools and trying to learn them and things like that and play with them. The thing that I still have like an issue with the terrain tools is the fact that it doesn't even slightly affect any of the surrounding areas that are off the lot like it used to. I think it was Sims 3 that, you know, if you got really close to the edge of a lot, it would manipulate some of the ground outside and around the lot, which I think just made it have more of a natural feel because where it's so flat close around it and things like that, it just looks a little strange to a certain extent. But I was trying to play around with these and I was deciding when I made this, I was like, you know what? Let's play around with it and do like different levels and actually see how it works with the stairs and things like that. And I ultimately decided like the story behind this place is that at one point in time there may have been like this natural like water area here, but as Oasis Springs, you know, went on through time and stuff like that, it dried, it got hot, and the lake is now gone. So this is basically like a dry lake bed, or, I mean, it's not even really the size of a lake. Well, I mean, when you see the Sims up to it, it actually is a pretty big size, but it's not, like, amazingly big, but, it is still pretty decent size. So, you know, maybe a pond, maybe a lake, maybe it's just slightly big enough to be considered a lake, but I did call it technically dry lake bed. That is the name of this build, and if you want to go and get it on the gallery, that's how you're gonna find it. So, or at least that's the name that you can look for. So that's what I was sort of playing around with it as, that at one point in time this used to be a lake and now it is dried up, so they still are trying to preserve this area and still trying to make use of it. So it is a park that, you know, you can go and chill at and do things. I did raise some of the level as well because I didn't want it to all be like sunken in. I was trying to make it look semi-natural and like they didn't come in and like edit, like flatten out the lot too much or anything like that. So I was sort of playing around with them, but also still trying to have space to technically set stuff on, because, you know, sitting some objects and stuff on hills doesn't work very well. But as for the building of course was built there mainly to have bathrooms and stuff in it, but I also decided that I did add like, I think I added like music and a bar area, but I also added some stuff using like the jungle adventure and made it seem like maybe this is stuff that they found in the surrounding area. Maybe a lot of it is stuff that they have found inside the lake after the lake or the pond had dried up. So to make it sort of like a little history part of the lake as well, and like them trying to preserve some of the stuff that is going on there and where everything is, or what everything used to be and things like that. So that was like the building. I wanted the building to still be somewhere that Sims could go when they didn't want to be outside when they come to this park, or, you know, go use the bathroom, but I wanted it to still relate back to the main essence of the park, which was the fact that they were trying to preserve this lake as like sort of like a national park area type thing. I don't know. You may get what I'm trying to say. I'm really bad at explaining what is in my head. Like, I don't really know why. It's just like something I cannot do, no matter how hard I try. Well, sometimes I do it well, but most times I'm like, I don't know how to explain the things in my head. If you see me, you can't see me because there's no webcam, but I just made probably the most horrendous face ever. But yeah, anyway, so that's what this building is. I tried to make it somewhere for your Sims to go, but also try to make it seem like, you know, this is a park where they're trying to preserve the history of this area and things like that. I do eventually put like a sign up near one of the pathways, and I think that came from the outdoor retreat. I can't remember right off the way. But again, that sign was sort of basically me like interpreting. They put that up there to let you know, like, if you were, because if you go to like an actual place that has is meant to be viewed but also may be seen, so like where I live, there's like these natural waterfalls that are really big and stuff, and there's usually signs about telling you about how long they've been there, or some of the things that go on with them and why they're this way and what they're doing to preserve it or whatever. So I imagine that that sign mentions the fact that this used to be a lake or a pond, whichever you want to go with, and now it is now since then dried up, but they still want to preserve the fact that this was once a really like amazing park, and that people used to come here all the time with the lake, and they still wanted people to come here, but they adjusted it to meet like the new climate and stuff like that. So you can actually walk down inside the lake bed, and there's still stuff to do up there. I will say that I do have like some children's stuff running around, but if you are a parent with your child here, please keep an eye on your child, Sims, because in real life, if said child got too close, they might fall over. So keep an eye on your Sim children, please. Yes. But yeah, so like there's like things to do down inside the dry lake bed, as well as things to do up on the top as well. I did move things around quite a bit, but this build was like, it didn't take me too long, but I still really enjoyed it. This was probably one of the shorter ones compared to any of them in the past, so this video is a lot shorter than most of my speed builds. But yeah, I hope you also still enjoy it either way. I hope you enjoyed the video and the build itself. I hope your Sims can enjoy it as well if you decide to put it in your world. If you ever take any of my builds and like you edit them some more yourself, please let me know, like put like the hashtag artisticgamer7 or tweet it to me or something like that, because I would like to see if anyone ever tries to change my builds and see what they do with them as well. So that'd be fun to see. So if you ever do anything like that, please let me know so I can go and check it out as well. I sort of almost want to do like something where maybe I could take builds and you all could do stuff like, if you all that watch the channel, like I do have like the monthly collab things that I do, but maybe take one that's more of like just like looking at random people's stuff versus the people that specifically join collabs and things like that. But you know, maybe that's something I'll look at and maybe do in the future. But anyway, so with this part, it's basically self-explanatory at this point and what I've said. The building is pretty simple. It's only one layer. I do have the upper layer, but that was just more of to give it like a feature and not make the building just be a boring square. So it's like a skylight system that I decided to do on it. I do decide to add some plants here and there just because there are technically plants around this area, and honestly this area looks like, because there is that waterway going beside it, so it definitely does look like, you know, there was at one point water quite a bit through here. I imagine that waterway still has like a natural spring somewhere that's still getting some water to it, but the water at this particular area has since dried up. There wasn't enough to keep this area replenished and stuff like that. I still really wish that the surrounding areas would sort of morph to your buildings things when you do the terrain, because it would make so much more sense, and I could actually try to make it look like maybe there was like where the water, that like narrow stream is running through, like maybe that's its water source and it's connected to it, but instead I had to round it off and just make it look like it was a very oddly shaped waterway or part of the lake, which I mean, lakes can have those little, lakes or ponds can have those like little streams or little things parting off of it, but I didn't want to make it too wide there since I was planning on putting a bridge over that part, and I actually didn't know how that fully worked just yet, and I'm glad that I wouldn't have made it too wide since it does show a wall going through there. It would be cooler if I could try to make it look like columns down underneath it, and maybe I could have if I played with it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I even tried. So maybe next time I do something similar to this, where I have a walkway going over top of like a section that is down lower than the main flat level. Maybe I'll try to see if it still will let me put like columns and stuff down underneath it. But you know, that's something I'll just have to sort of test out later. But you know, we'll just have to see. Also, again, one of the things I did differently, I've done it in a few builds now where I actually do the landscaping last. I find it normally I do the outside of a building first, and then I do the landscaping around that building. But I've had a few builds recently where I actually go and do like the flowers and stuff last, which is definitely strange from what I used to do. I don't do it a lot, but I've done it a few times. This one, I think it made the most sense just because I had to sort of figure out where all these objects were going before I really wanted the planet, since they were all outside and it wasn't necessarily a building that I was putting these plants around. It was just random objects and stuff here and there. So after I got the objects, that's when I started doing the landscaping and trying to bring some life to this area. Because even if the lake's dried up, for there to be a lake there at one point in time, it would make sense that there would still be enough water that at least the plants, like water in the ground, coming from somewhere that plants could still survive to a certain extent. And I did try to make sure to pick plants that could look like they take like the hotter climates, or like they can survive a little bit longer on less water. Things like cactuses and succulents, there are certain flowers and things like that. Took a little bit of my greenhouse knowledge and just guessing to sort of pick which ones I thought looked like they could survive without water for a longer period of time, or with less water, that is. So I just think it helped bring a little bit more color and life to the build as well, since it was going to be mostly outside and it was all this brown and tans. So I think it was a little bit nicer to do that. And I think I remember this was acting really weird because it wouldn't let me grab that one plant, and I had to move all the other plants away from it just to grab the one. But I think the building is the last part that I'm going to be working on with this. Again, inside the building, I did decide to put, of course, the bathrooms. I'm pretty sure there's a bar, and I definitely remember putting music. Like I said, it's been a while since I've actually built this build and stuff, but there's also like a little display area in the middle that you can look at like artifacts and stuff like that. And like I said, I interpret them, in my opinion, to be like artifacts that they found after the lake dried up. Maybe some from the surrounding area, but the big majority of them were from after the lake dried up and things like that. So I thought that would be like a cool little thing. Like if I personally, of course, you know, I have a little bit of a side that sort of likes history and things like that. So if I went to a park with someone and we mainly went there just to sort of relax and chill and have a good time, but then I seen like all this stuff that showed like stuff that they had found and like all this history, I would be pretty interested in it. So I definitely would like to see that stuff. So I thought that would be like a cool little element and such. And like I did include I think I do keep a bookcase. I'm pretty sure I keep a bookcase because I decided maybe the books are like books that are on the area, like on talking about this park and about some of the stuff nearby. And if you actually put this in the same lot where I did, which is where the park in Oasis Springs is at, there is supposed to be that little secret thing nearby. So I also think that would be that's a really cool thing. That'd be like maybe there's books talking about how there's supposed to be this place or something. So definitely sort of like the idea of something similar to that going on with this build, like them focusing a lot on keeping it alive and also keeping the history going and knowledge and all that stuff. So that was sort of my intentions of the whole build, is to have a little bit of place for Sims to hang out and mix with maybe a little bit of mystery and history and those sort of rhymed in a certain way or sounded similar. Anyway, so that's what this build is about, and I feel like I've repeated myself for a very long time. I mean, for a lot, words! I repeated myself a lot, but I just want to make sure that I'm explaining it out of my head the best way I can. Also, there's not really too much time left of this video, so it'd be sort of pointless at this point to put music into the rest of it, so I probably won't be doing that. But anyway, I really hope that you like this build, and if you download it, I hope that you enjoy it, and let me know if you end up making any changes or what you think down in the comments below, or, you know, if you do make changes, you can always tweet me or tell me, like, you know, you've re-added it to the gallery, and I'll definitely go give it a look. I would like to see, like, people try stuff like that. And shit. If you do want to go download this, it will be on the gallery. My origin ID is ArtisticGamer7. I will also have the hashtag ArtisticGamer7 attached to this build, as well as the fact that it's park. I'll have hashtag park as well. And you can also try to type in Dry Lake Bed Park, because that is the name of it. It should be up on the gallery by the time that this video goes live. I always say should because I don't want to necessarily full-on promise, because I have a really bad habit of forgetting things, and I'll go to actually go and upload it onto the gallery, and I'll think that I'll upload it, but I never actually fully went through the upload process. So it should be up on the gallery by the time you're seeing this video. If you go look and it is not there, please let me know down in the comments below or tweet me or something like that, so that I know that I forgot. But I should remember. I should check. I probably actually am going to go and get it at least prepared to go up right after I finish this voiceover. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the build and everything, and all goodness and stuff like that. Remember to check the description below. I will have the name and of the build as well as my origin ID down there, just in case you ever forget. Also, all of my social medias are down there, so you can go follow me on those, and my Sims 4 playlists are down there as well, so you can go check out those if you've missed any builds in the past, or if you're looking for a new LP or something like that. They will be down there for your viewing pleasure. Make sure you hit that lovely like button, subscribe, all that YouTube goodiness stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!